with bad allergies and severe asthma to where I was down to 50% breathing capacity. I had a yeast infection throughout my body that caused extreme fatigue and lethargy to where I was sleeping 17 hours a day. And doctors had me quit my job working with special ed children. You know, so before Relive, I would have never been able to do what I do today. I babysit my 3 young grandsons, and it's absolutely awesome. I'm no longer bothered with any of my health issues. I'm now at 98% breathing capacity, not bothered with hormone issues of hot flashes or dry eye, no longer borderline glaucoma or borderline diabetes. And I'm now awake 18 hours a day and have a blast taking care of those 3 children. So I'm grateful for these great products. Doctors have taken me off all of my medications, and I have my life back. So I'm very thankful for that. But, you know, my husband also saw great results with acid reflux, and he had back pain from an injury over 40 years ago in the service, and it was getting worse as he was getting older. But within no time being on Relive, he no longer was bothered by those issues. But he works a lot of hours, travels a lot, and he wasn't taking a whole lot of product. But in about 6 years of being on the product, he was diagnosed with kidney cancer. Now, they did say that he's had that cancer probably 7 to 10 years, and it just finally showed up. But they rushed him into surgery, didn't give us time to really think. He did take extra products so that he was stronger for the surgery and for recuperating. And the doctor was absolutely amazed how quickly he recovered. They let him go back to work in half the time that they had said he would. So that was absolutely awesome. But his remaining kidney was smaller than it should be. But they were amazed at how it was still functioning well on his own, and he didn't have to have dialysis. But you know, he was back to work, back to not really doing a lot of shakes again, just taking the minimum. And at his next scan, they found a spot on a lymph node near that area where they had removed the kidney. Well, they told him at first they thought it was scar tissue. But the next scan, it was larger. And the next scan, it was even larger. Finally, 3 years later, they said it's time you see an oncologist. Well, that's when my husband finally decided he better start taking Relive seriously again. And thank goodness for the wonderful people with Relive. We got so much help and support from so many distributors across the United States. He took more product. He took better care of himself. And when he got in to see that oncologist, we were absolutely amazed to hear that that spot was completely gone. We will be forever, ever grateful for these products and the wonderful people that help us.
Wow. Joan, that is absolutely amazing. And, you know, I know from my own experience just about taking enough product, you know, you just have to take as much product as your body needs. Correct. None of us know really how much we do need, but, you know, if you're not feeling 100%, then you take a bit more until you do. So both your stories, absolutely fantastic.
Well, and one more thing I forgot to say was he just had his checkup with the kidney doctor, and his remaining kidney, though smaller than it should be, has improved so much that they took him off of his blood medication and said he doesn't have to come back for a full year instead of every 3 to 6 months.
Wow, that's incredible. Well,
so
thank you so much, Joan. I know you have to dash off, so I just want to say a particular thank you to you now instead of thanking you at the end because you'll miss it. So thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, now I'm going to go to Michigan, to Renee Carter. Renee, would you like to share with everybody just how Relive has impacted your life? Are you there, Renee? If I can't hear you, so if you just press star.
Is that better? Can you hear me now?
That's better. Yes, okay. I can hear you now.
Yes, my name is Renee Carter, and I am from Ypsilanti, Michigan, very close to Ann Arbor. Most people are familiar with that little city in Michigan. And I am a mom of 6. I homeschooled for 20 years, and my husband is a pharmacist. And the story I'd like to share with you today is regarding my son, Christopher. when we started on these products, Christopher was 15, and he had suffered with asthma, seasonal asthma, and severe eczema in the creases of his arms and legs, and very, very badly on his hands. So much so that people would ask him, did he have a disease and was it contagious? Because Christopher, since he was a toddler, would just scratch himself bloody raw. And we used all the cortisone creams that the doctors recommended, and my husband even made up some cream to help him in the pharmacy. And just like what the doctors prescribed, everything just worked temporarily. And it was just heartbreaking to sit and watch Christopher not be able to get any relief, again, and scratching himself, and then his hands would, again, be bloody and scab over and become infected, and it was just a mess. So, again, that was what was going on when we started, and he was actually in an asthmatic flare-up when we started, so we had no idea what we were doing, so we really relied upon our team of support to walk us through that. And I tell you, Christopher, he continued with all the medications that the doctors prescribed, the prednisone and the breathing treatments and the steroid shots, and yet he was continuing to flare. And I asked the doctors, I said, well, because we were in and out of emergency so much, I said, will you keep him? And they said, well, no, once he is out of danger, we must release him. So, again, very frustrating. Once he got started on the Relive products, it took approximately 2 to 3 weeks for things to settle down with Christopher, and we gave him more product. We learned that he could not just do the maintenance too, that he needed 3 to 4 shakes a day, and that's what we did. And I tell you, in just 2 to 3 weeks, that flare-up settled down, dissipated to the point that Christopher has not had another asthmatic flare-up since, and that's been about 5 years. Well, I was thrilled to see that happen right away, but I kept looking at his hands after that, and I said, well, Chris, let me see your hands. And I wasn't really seeing a change, and a couple of weeks went by, another couple of weeks, a month, 6 weeks, no change. And I said, well, God, I thank you for the results with this asthma. And then it hit me somewhere between weeks 12 and 16. You know what? I haven't looked at Christopher's hands. I said, Chris, come over and let me see your hands. And when I saw his hands, I just began to weep. And they were tears of joy because his hands had become restored and healthy. The tissue and the skin was smooth like I had not seen since he was an infant. And we've had other wonderful results as a family. Asthma runs in the family through me, and I've had great results as well. But for Christopher, and what we've seen as a family is the reason that this is the first food we purchase every month. And then we were, again, pleasantly surprised when we learned that there was also a business connected with all of these wonderful results. And that very first month, because we went to let me just back up, we did go to an international conference, but my husband being a pharmacist, we wanted to look at this company a little closer, and we were just blown away by what we saw. I mean, from the leadership to the tour of the manufacturing facility to the incredible people that we met literally from all over the world. And because of that, we came in, we wanted to get the products at the best price, 40%. And I tell you, that very first month, just sharing with people, and again, my team flew in from Atlanta to help me, and I was just shocked that someone would do that. But they came to get me started. And that very first month, I made $650, not knowing what I was doing, and continued to be profitable ever since. And I'm just so grateful for this company. It is just wonderful, and I am just thrilled. And we will always take these products.
I bet you will, and what a life-changing thing for Christopher. I mean, it's just incredible, you know. When you're a mum, there's just nothing you want other than your kids to be well, and
exactly.
It's just amazing. And you know, it's so cool when people see somebody particularly with a skin condition, and they think that it's some illness or other, and it's actually something like eczema, or can be psoriasis, or any other of those skin conditions that are so, you know, they look so awful that people just assume there's something seriously wrong with you in a contagion sense. And so for him, it must have been very painful, apart from, you know, emotionally painful, apart from the actual discomfort of the eczema. So I'm so glad that you found Relive, or Relive found you, and everything has gone on well since then. So thank you so much, Renee, for sharing your story.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Well, you know, these products work in America, but they also work across the pond. And I'm delighted that we have on the call today Zeenat from down in London. Zeenat, on today just to share your story, because you had great results as well, but also, you know, to share your brother's story, because we've heard a little bit of it before. But when I saw your brother at our conference event in January, you know, I just I don't think there was a dry eye in the house when he shared his story, and I know it's not possible for him to share on the call, but we'd really appreciate you sharing just how far he's come in that time. So I'm going to let you share your story first, and then we'll move on to your brother. Okay. Just go ahead, Zeenat. I can't hear you, so press *6 if you're... Are you there, Zeenat? Hello? Zeenat, if you press... are you there? Zeenat? If you press *6... Hi.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh,
sorry.
Now.
Okay, I did press *6 before. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that,
okay.
Leslie.
That's okay.
Okay, I'm here. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Zeenat Said. I'm from Harrow, Middlesex, UK. My background's in alternative medicine, and the last few years I've been working in the charity sector. My illness started in my late teenage life when I contracted a flu virus called a parvovirus, from which I never recovered, and doctors said there was no cure. From day to day, I would have little or no energy, a lot of pain in my body, in all my major muscle groups, very, very poor concentration, very poor memory, and intermittently I would lose my vision for up to an hour at a time, which was really quite scary. I had tried a lot of other therapies, but I only progressed up to 50%, and it was only through colonic irrigation that I found out that I wasn't absorbing the vitamin pills that I had taken for many years. When I first started taking the Relief Shakes, within the first month, I experienced an increase in energy by 70%. This really encouraged me to continue, and over the next months, my pain drastically reduced in my body. My concentration really improved. My memory improved. My husband now says I remember even useless information, and I have no further loss of vision since I've been on the products, Leslie. So really, Relive is my best friend. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, and you know, it's a pleasure to share my brother's story, because he's making fantastic progress. Not so long ago, in September 2014, I found my brother in hospital on his way to a coma. It was really, really sad, you know, visiting him on that Sunday evening, and it was as if for those few seconds I thought I may never again. It was that kind of a state. I went home that night, and I just couldn't sleep all night. And you know, I just prayed. I asked for guidance, and you know, the next morning I took my Relive shakes with me, And the nurses and the doctors were saying, what am I doing there outside of visiting hours? But I said to them, I'm not going to let my brother die. I just walked into the ward. I made up the shake and put it into a beaker that they normally have for the patients. I held my brother in my arm like a baby. He's not aware of what I'm doing. And I started putting drops of the shake in his mouth. It took me a long time, almost 2 hours, to feed him that first shake. And I think he may have drank about 200 mils. And then basically I laid him down, didn't know what to do. So I thought I'll go back to work and I'll come back in the afternoon. Later on I came back and I was told that he had actually woken up half an hour after I'd left. So this really encouraged me. So I fed him another shake while I was there. And the next morning I came back again. I fed him another shake and he actually came around. He recognized me. It was such a moment. I cannot explain to you when I saw him awake and breathing, and he was able to recognize me. But what had happened was that he had lost all movements of his body, of his limbs. He could not use his arms, legs. He had lost all his speech, and he had lost his memory. So he needed 24-hour care. He was really, literally in a vegetative state. But I continued. I said to myself, I cannot break down now. I knew the power of the shakes, the relive, and I continued to up to 6 shakes a day. After a week, he got a bit of his appetite back, and he was able to eat soft foods. And we were able to sit him in a chair for a few minutes, and he was actually able to lift his arm up and drink the shake himself. In the second week, he took his first steps. We held him with the help of the nurse, and we helped him to take the first few steps, and then literally every day we would continue this. In the third week, he started getting speech back. He was putting words together, and we were able to make sense of what he was trying to tell us. And in the fourth week, he got his memory back. And it was only then that the doctors were able to allow him to come home. Since he's come home, he's continued with the shakes, and he is making progress, even more progress, even after leaving hospital. He's recovered complete speech, his mobility, his memory, and in fact, he says now that he feels he's never felt this better in his life, as he does now. And all his mental health and bipolar depression medications have been lowered completely, right down to the minimum. And they're even talking of maybe in the near future of having him off the medication. So I cannot tell you, Leslie, how grateful I am to be in Relive, because had I not known about Relive, I don't think that my brother will be here today. So I'm ever so grateful.
Well, Zina, when I saw him stand up there in front of everybody at that conference and share his story, I was just so absolutely choked up, because it was so, so powerful.
Yes.
And
he says that Relive has given him a second chance to live.
Absolutely. And on another front, you didn't just tell your brother and share with your brother. So would you like to share with everybody how you started to build a business?
Sure. Okay. Basically, I joined the business when my daughter got her results with a very poor immune system and a very poor circulation. And, I thought there is something different with this product. I knew a lot about other supplements and vitamins, but really it was something different. So I joined the business, and within the first few days, I actually attended the Euro conference, which was in Birmingham in that year. And I saw such a big picture of people coming, from all walks of life and from all over Europe under one roof, talking about their health stories and the business testimonies. And I knew that this was something big. So I decided to join and go straight to the top profit level, the 40% level, the master affiliate level. Within the first month, I earned a business builder's bonus of £150, which is really great. I continue to plug into the system that we have, the 7-element system. And my business has gone international, into the US. And last year, I even won the accommodation to Kansas City International Conference, which was really, really great. I'm a multiple star director, which means I'm just able to help a lot of people, with their health and their business. My best income through all forms is £1,000 per month, and this is working very, very part-time around my full-time job that I do with a charity. So, Leslie, this is really, really amazing. It means I have more choices with that extra income that's coming in and is building. But the best thing that really, really encouraged me to join was the Calogres Foundation. And, this company not only cares about distributors and customers, but it also cares about the poor people around the world, and which is really, really amazing. And when Sandy Montgomery had this vision of, feeding 1 million children and poor people around the world, well, I really agree with that, and I really want to build my business so I can contribute more towards that, Leslie. So that I'll always continue building.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Zeenat, for sharing those stories. I know how hard it must be for you sometimes to go back and remember how sick your brother was. It's not easy to revisit that sort of thing, but we so appreciate you sharing that for us. And I just
thank
wanted
you very
everyone
much
to
for
know,
having me on, Leslie.
That's okay. I just wanted everyone to know how much better he got, because he was beginning to get results last time we spoke on the call, but now, I mean, honestly, if anyone was listening that last time and you didn't see him earlier this month, then I'm a testament to how well he looked. He just was amazing.
Well, the consultants at the hospital said that the nutrition played a vital part in his recovery.
Exactly. I think gradually the medical profession are beginning to understand that nutrition makes a difference, but it's a slow road. Well, thank you again.
It's Joni on the line, and I just want to say how amazing all three of those stories are. Really, my hats off to Zanit and Joan and Renee for sharing those beautiful stories. And you were just talking about the Calogres Foundation, and I know I mentioned this a few weeks ago, but I'd really like to do it again. For the people who live in the U.S. who are listening to this and who go on to Amazon and buy things, if you sign into Amazon, if you go into Amazon.com/smile, it will ask you what charity you would like to donate to. And if you go down that list, you will see the Calogres Foundation on there. And basically what happens is every time you make a purchase from Amazon.com or Amazon.com/smile and do it to the Calogres Foundation, Amazon donates a percentage of the sale, I believe it's 5%, to the foundation. So you can shop and feed the hungry all at the same time, and it's just absolutely incredible. So I just want to mention that to you, and you guys have fun shopping now. but
I just wish we could
shop.
That's brilliant, Joni. Thank you for sharing that again, because people need reminding. It's so easy to go online and buy something and then realize you could have made a difference at the same time. I just wish that was possible here, but because the Calogres Foundation is registered in the States, it doesn't come up as a charity here, so we can't do that on Amazon through the UK. But certainly anyone in America, I'd encourage you, because it's not going to cost you anything. All it's doing is actually giving money to those kids and making a difference. So absolutely amazing call. Everyone's stories were just incredible today, and I'd just like to thank you all again. I know Joan's probably gone off the line now, but Joan, Renee, and Zeenat, you were brilliant today. That is just amazing. All those stories were just incredible. Now, if you were listening and you want somebody else to hear what you've just heard, You can get the replay line. You'll have that on the email that you get reminding you about this call, the numbers to dial, and this week is number 61. So you can just go into that replay number, enter the normal PIN, 351575, and that hash, that's the pound sign, and then you enter 61 hash if you want this week's call. You'll know people that need to hear what you've just heard, and that's what we do in Relive. So if you're listening for the first time, that's how you build your business. You get people connected to stories, let them hear what's happening for real people, and that does it for you. That you don't have to persuade anyone into this business. You don't have to sell this business. You just share stories, and it's just incredible. So we'll be back next week with some more stories. And I can't wait to see who we get on next week. We'll get some more stories lined up.
I know who that is already, Leslie, and believe me, people will want to be listening in. If anybody wants to be on this email blast, if you want to grab a pen, I'll give you my email address, and if you're over here, I'll add you to the list, and if not, I'll forward it on to Leslie, and she'll add it to her list. My email address is tpjs@AOL.com, like Tom, Paul, Jelly, Sam, at AOL.com. So anyway, Leslie, I'll turn it back to you to go ahead and say goodbye to everybody. And thank you for hosting a great call. It was amazing.
That's all right. We've had fun today because all these lives have been changed, and that is just so special. So I'm going to open up the line so everyone can say cheerio to each other. And we'll just stop the recording first.
Okay, bye-bye, Leslie.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Jane.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Stella.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.